Hello folks, and welcome to Ashgabat, the capital of the enigmatic Turkmenistan. Hi all, I thought I'd do something a little bit different this week, and I'm doing my two camera bits here in Australia outside, just for fun. I'm new to this vlogging thing, so I'm just trying to get it all worked out. But today, I think probably this is my first of two parts. I thought I'd split it in two again, of talking about probably the most interesting country that I went to last year in 2019, and my experiences and how it all went along, and that is Turkmenistan. I've been in Turkmenistan now. This is my third day. I've had a busy day, and so I just thought I'd say hello. This is my room. As you can see, I'm at the Ak Alton Hotel. It's a 3-star, they say. Well, that's what it claims to be, and yeah, it's fine. And I've just been doing a little bit of blogging there, just getting a bit of a blog post up. Let me have a quick look. It's getting dark. It's nearly 6 o'clock. So out here, you can see some of the city of Ashgabat. It's not towards the centre. It's away from the centre. Over there is the well, there's a circus you can see, and further afield is the airport. So it's been a very interesting time. I've been on a tour. So we started in a place called Konye-Urgench. Well, we started at the Shabot border crossing to Dashaguz. Turkmenistan is another Central Asian country, obviously, which I crossed into from Uzbekistan, and it's got a population of about 6 million. The capital is Ashgabat. It's got probably about another 3 or 4 main cities, which is Mary, Dashaguz in the north, which I passed through, Turkmenbashi and Turkmenbat. So I didn't go to all of those. I went through Dashaguz and I went to Ashgabat and Mary. But in this vlog, we're going to start in Uzbekistan. Along to the border, crossing, going through Dashaguz, going to Konye-Urgench, which is a historical site in the north of the country, and then down through sort of the desert, the wastelands. Well, they're not wastelands, the desert, to the Darvaza Crater, which is this amazing crater in the middle of the desert, and you know, some exploration heat gas down there back in the 1970s. It lit up, and it's still burning today in 2020. I'm in a taxi on my way to Turkmenistan. It's about 70 kilometers from Kiev, so we're just leaving now. So hopefully within an hour we should be at the border, and we'll see how everything goes. That adventure awaits. I guess once I reached the border, I stopped filming for a little bit. I was just trying to be a little bit cautious. Turkmenistan is not your average country. It's one of the more closed countries in the world. So to get into Turkmenistan, I had to actually book a tour, and then I got a voucher with a tour which allowed me at the border to get my visa to enter Turkmenistan. There is a possibility that you can get a transit visa for Turkmenistan, but word on the grapevine is that that's quite difficult, and a lot of people end up getting rejected for that. So I decided to play it safe, and I booked a tour. I booked a tour with a Sanat Travel in Uzbekistan, but the actual tour was done by another company in Turkmenistan. So there was sort of double handling, and maybe it cost me more than it needed to. It was about $1,800 for the 5 days. So coming up to the border, I was quite nervous because I'd read a thing online that, you know, they go through all your medications, and if, you know, there are certain things that you're not allowed, including some painkillers, and then, you know, you read another, and somebody refers to it as, you know, as a similar country to North Korea, which I think is probably an unfair comparison. But nevertheless, getting to the border, going through the Uzbek part was really quick and fast, and then I found myself in this sort of cornfields between the two countries, this sort of empty zone, which was technically neither Uzbekistan nor Turkmenistan. And then I had to get onto this old bus to the Turkmenistan entry point to go through customs, passport control and all that. What I wasn't expecting was to be actually greeted there by my guide on the sort of the neutral side of the entry point, which was great because she was able to help me with all the things I had to fill out and tell me what to write, and I had to pay, I think in total $77, a couple of fees that I had to pay there. And then my bag was checked, and they looked through all my medication and everything was fine, but still I felt a bit nervous. And then it worked out that she had put the wrong exit date on some form, and she had to go back and sort that out. But once that was sorted, then it was into a Jeep. I met a driver and another guide who was actually a trainee guide, hadn't done any guiding before, and he was getting some experience, and we were off. And the tour group that I did take was called Owadan Tours, and I was pretty happy all in all with the services they provided. We went through Dashagoos initially before we headed out into sort of more sparsely vegetated Turkmenistan. It was an interesting city, quite white, which is the theme with a lot of Turkmenistan. I was told that's because the white is the colour of good luck in Turkmenistan, so they like to build things that are white. They like people to have white cars. There's a lot of white marble, as you'll see when we get to Ashgabat in the next vlog. Yeah. Then we made our way to Konye-Urgench, which is a whole bunch of ruins out seemingly in the middle of nowhere. We stopped first at this cafe, which the company apparently owned, and I was basically their only customer there that day, which was kind of weird. Then we moved on and we saw the historic sites at Konye-Urgench. from Konye-Urgench we went westward then southwards towards Darvaza in the middle of the country. And this is again the crater that I told you about, where basically some people were exploring, looking for natural gas back in the early 70s, hit a vein, it lit, and it's been burning ever since. They said it was only going to take a couple of weeks and it'd be done apparently, and here we are in 2020 and it's still burning. The highway was really quite empty. It wasn't in great condition, but there wasn't a lot around. We did see the occasional truck or two that passed us, or we passed them, but generally it was a pretty empty space out there in the middle of the Turkmenistan desert. And then out of nowhere we turn left into the sand dunes after driving for hours and hours, and we go up a sand dune, down a sand dune, up a sand dune. Didn't quite make it to the top, so the vehicle went down again and had another go, and finally got over that one, around for a bit, must have gone a couple of kilometres, and there we could see this large crater, and we drove down to it. It had a bit of a rudimentary fence erected around it. There were a number of people there, most of them were locals, standing around, and there we were at the Darvaza Crater. And right there next to the crater was a whole section for yurts. So they'd put rocks down, they'd made a nice sort of camp area, and that's where I stayed for the night. So it was in one of those yurts that I put my head down and I had a good sleep, and woke up the next day, and we were soon on our way towards Ashgabat. We went to a couple more craters that were nearby that were all caused by, hitting gas and then a bit of fire. One of them is now filled with water, which I think they call quite imaginatively the water crater. And there was another one with much less in the way of flames, but it was there. So that's what we did in the morning before heading off to Ashgabat. And as we did make our way towards Ashgabat, my guide, she started to feel unwell, and she said she had some sort of pain in the abdomen area, quite severe pain. So things were about to change quite a bit for me in this experience, because so far, it had been pretty good, and I got along really well with the driver and the guide and everything. They've been really friendly, and we'd had a few laughs, so it had been great. Not that was, not that we weren't going to have some more laughs, but you'll find out in the next vlog exactly what was wrong and what happened. But we sped on to Ashgabat, the amazing, surreal capital of the country, and that's where I'm going to leave you for now. And next time, in a couple of weeks, I'll be back with the next vlog, and we're going to talk and see Ashgabat, Mary, the historic centre of Merv, and a few other little things along the way. So I'm pretty excited to bring you more about Turkmenistan. But so far so good. And don't forget, please subscribe. And you can give us a thumbs up and like the vlog post too if you liked it. And of course, Don't forget to check out my blog, andysworldjourneys.com. Lots of great content, photos and stuff there. Let's continue the journey next time, and may the journey never end.